This video is going to show you how to answer GCSE ICT short answers. So these are the questions that begin with words like state or identify or something along those sort of lines. I've got a few here, give, these sort of things. What I would do when I'm writing these questions or when I'm answering these questions, I'd get my highlighter and I'd highlight the key thing they've been asked to do and the amount of marks that I need. The reason I'm doing that for this first one is I can see I need to identify something and I know it's worth 2 marks. As I can see, there's 2 things that are needed and I'm going to write 1 thing in each of them. As it's identify, I don't need to write a sentence, I don't need to describe anything. All I need to do is really brief, really basic answers. And for this one, identify 1 feature of the tablet that uses energy. State what could be done to reduce its energy. And you could write any list of things here. You could write the screen brightness. You could talk about the display or the screensaver. You could talk about the connectivity, so things like the Wi-Fi or the 3G. You could have apps could use the energy. You could have Bluetooth or GPS, or the volume could do it. I'm just going to go for a really simple one. I'm going to go for the brightness. So the brightness could be is a feature that could drain the energy use. How can I change that? I can turn it down. There. I haven't used any full sentences. I haven't used any massively technical language. All I've done is identified to 1 feature and said how to turn it down. I've got my 2 marks like that. If we look at a state one, a state is quite similar. What we need for a state is a bit more detail, but still not massively, not loads. I can say that we don't need much detail at all, and it's only worth 1 mark. So I'm only looking here for 1 sentence. So if I'm stating something, I could say for the resolution, I could say that I wanted it means I've got a clearer image. I could also say something like there were more pixels per square inch. Any one of these will do. You could also write, you just need 1 of these because it's only worth 1 mark. You could also write that it's high quality. So just 1 line, just a tiny little brief statement saying something really basic. If I look at my next questions, state 1 risk to Michael's health from using a touchscreen for too long. So think about how we use computer devices. If I'm going to state 1 risk, so I'm going to highlight the word state. I'm going to highlight how many marks it's worth. And if I'm going to state 1 risk, I could say something like RSI. Done. I could say something like eye strain. Done. I could say something like finger stress or muscle stress. I'll just write finger stress. Done. This one's a bit different. Give 2 advantages of Michael using open source software. So a bit of a shift going from health and safety to software. So if I'm going to give 2 advantages, this needs to be a little bit more detailed. So I might write something like open source software. It's cheaper to obtain. That's one thing to do with open source software. Just a short sentence, no massive amount of detail. You could say that a user can edit the source code. And that's another one. You could also say something like there's big communities online to help people work through these. This is how we answer the short answers, or the short answer questions. Highlight the key term that it's asking you to do. Highlight the main thing. It's asking you to state or give or identify. And it's going to ask you 1 of those sort of things. Highlight the amount of points you need to include. If it says 2 marks, then include 2 points. If it says 1 mark, include 1 point.